Okay, hang on. We are in the yellow. That should be good. All right. Hello, and welcome back, everyone. We are back to writing. And after the hour today, I'll be ending stream momentarily, and then starting a coding stream. But I like to keep the writing segments at about an hour for my own editing purposes. That's weird. Testing. Hello. How's the... Okay. That's more consistently in the yellow. Should be good. All right. Let's get this going. If I do not get to a coding stream, I might be doing a gaming stream. I will probably be doing a long stream one way or another after this is done. Hopefully people can enjoy it. All right. We were on human society. Yeah, it's weird. Actually, come to think of it, where are my cough drops? Been a bit odd today. Am I out of them? Give me 1 second, chat. Strange. I could have sworn I had a bag of them left. Well, that is a-okay. Okay. Tennis Dominion. Yada yada. This will need to be cleaned, but let's go on with the brainstorming. Okay, tracking is being a bit weird. Let me try. Is audio still being able to be picked up like this? Looks like it. Tracking still okay. Good. All right. My model is off position. Hang on. There we go. All right, so let's see. We're going with the idea. Wow, this really isn't working. Okay, give me 1 second, chat. I was gonna try to do standing, um, but the tracking is just not liking it. So I will be right back. Okay. Let's get that repositioned. Let's get that repositioned. We're just having all the scuff today. All right, that looks like it's more or less on me. Ooh, well, that's all right. And audio looks okay. Tracking looks good. All right, we'll just work with this. Alrighty. So the idea that I've been in my head, is that the Emperor, or Aeternus, or whatever the name will be, is going to be following the idea of having a lot of magic, and strengthens that magic through understanding science and pioneering it, to allow even more sorry, even more of a means for humanity to make use of their will of creation through science, through understanding, and also to reinforce the origin of this magical, air quotes, drug, pun intended. So, going at this lens, I think it's going to be a bit interesting, because the story's premise, because it's going off of the world building universe that I've been making as a multi-layer one, for like multi-layers in multiple different story settings. Humanity isn't going to be base format like others. All humans will have, so to speak, latent magical abilities. And because of that, I want to take an approach, right, that really makes the story interesting, and have different factions. And as I'm trying to bring thoughts into this, I want to make it feel like a fantasy that has evolved into a science fiction, but I'm trying to decide what the factions will be, right? So, what if Oh, I'm getting too far from the mic. Actually, it is still not picking up like it normally does. What the heck? All right. Yeah, that seems to be better. Okay. So strange. Hang on, I'm gonna just listen to myself real quick. Real quick. No, okay. Sound is coming through fine. Don't have to worry about that. This normally my I have my audio mixer on the right, so normally it has a nice range that I'm used to. I may be a little tired. Alright, so brainstorming section. Earth is comprised of a united government. Okay, now I'm curious. What's the difference between composed and comprised? I was looking at the dictionary. That was dirty. You got me, though. I had a tiny flinch. Hello and welcome in, Justin. And, no, I am afraid you are incorrect on this one because comprised was correct, which is made up of or contains, while composed means to make up or to create. And this one is Earth is comprised, contains a united government. So I think that's correct. Congratulations on your first. Screw you on the sound alert. I'm doing okay. Kind of tired, but I'm doing all right. I'm thinking that I'm probably going to do a sleep reset because I've been waking up like at 1 p.m. most days. And while that's not terrible because my natural body rhythm is around 2 to 4, everything is closing like by the time I'm like geared up and ready to do stuff. And I need to make some appointments and get some stuff done during quote unquote normal people hours. So I'm probably, unless I think better of it, because it's not really good for the body, gonna stay up all night tonight. And then, like, try to stay up long enough so that I can do all those calls before I pass out. And then sleep for, like, I don't know, probably 12 hours or some shit. And yeah, be like a reset. It is good to see you. So you came in pretty much at the beginning for the writing section. Basically, I was rambling on about like what I want to do because this is the world building section, and the universe is being based largely off of like my umbrella universe, the one that I came up with and fleshed out in my head for use in all sorts of different stories. And using that in a sci-fi in this type of sci-fi, where it's like a sci-fi fantasy Warhammer style, works, but it's not like Warhammer where everyone is like risking their souls by using magic. It really is much more like a fantasy. Ouch. But designed with science. I'm not sure if that crack was audible, but it was a good one. So because of that, I'm thinking about how to approach like variant humans or other sapients on Earth. And I'm thinking right now that I'll probably have Beastman as a variant. I've already established there's going to be some like spirit, and that's tied to like faith. But I'm not sure if I want them to still be around. It kind of depends. I hmm, if they do die out, it would be due to a kind of natural distancing from the kind of faith, and they wouldn't really be dying out. They'd be like changing, and there'd be a new age of spirits born from like faith and superstitions and unified thought around like a more modern scientific era. Because the root of spirits in this universe is that they, and this goes for demons too, are when there's enough of a common will and enough of a common belief tied with faith, which is kind of like imbibing your mana through conviction. So, like, prayers are, in a sense, a spell, right? In this universe. If you pray to something, if you give offering, if you um, do anything of the like, make pact, deal, yada, 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 you are casting a kind of spell through conviction and will, being on that like spiritual nature. So in that sense, if people have superstitions and they act on them, like making the sign of a cross to ward off evil, or eating garlic to stave off, etc., etc., like it's not just you've taken action on it, and even more if you do ritualistic and like altar. And I'm not talking like altar as in like demonic ritual necessarily, though that does apply. Um, I'm talking things like shrines or memorials or etc. All of those, you're pouring your spirit out, so to speak. So just as you can pour your heart out and your soul into a craft, you can pour it into a superstition, you can pour it. All of those things are kind of like spells of faith. Um, Spells of conviction. And they're not typically much more than just like, a little something extra special about the thing that you're directing towards it. But if there is enough of a commonality, if there are enough people doing this and making it common practice, well, now it gets a little tricky because now you've got all of this different spells feeding the same thing. And the more concrete, the more unified that faith, the more solidified and established the spirit is, the target of the faith. So, things like the Grim Reaper, for example, would be like a spirit or minor god in this universe because they're a common held belief. And it would have different faces because different cultures have different views on the Grim Reaper, so to speak, but they'd all be tied to the same broad spiritual core. And the thing about spirits is like they're kind of like a pseudo soul. They can have sentience, yeah, but they're not, they don't have a shard of creation per se. When they do action, when they act upon the world, they do so through faith, and they will have to recover. Yeah, I. Oh, it like the clown one? I mean, I guess sort of. Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe. But like that thing ties into it too. Like if there's a unified, so say for example, there was a widespread belief in like Count Dracula, right? The lord of all vampires, to the point where it became mythos. Well, you might get something that's not actually a vampire, but a spirit in its true origins, this minor deity that fulfills that, Count Dracula. And it'll have the appearance of a vampire. It'll look like a duck and quack like a duck, so to speak, but it can't truly be that, so to speak, even if it might have a solid form, because I'll get right on that, Rylus. Because where was my brain? Right, because its power directly comes from faith, and if that mythos was dispelled or altered, that spirit would change or dissipate. Yeah. So lowercase g gods do exist in the setting. Uppercase g god would be creation itself, which is like sentient but not sentient. And yeah, I think ghosts are going to be a little bit different from spirits. Um, because it, I'm not going to say that it's impossible for a soul to like linger around, but ghosts and spirits aren't really going to be the same thing, because a spirit is like a living myth, whereas yeah, a spirit is like a living myth, whereas a ghost would be like a revenant, a soul refusing to move on, and being able to do that by maintaining a concrete will. And a revenant is kind of like a person casting a spell and then just never stopping. So like if a spirit is sustained by just like spells from thousands of different sources, or hundreds or thousands of different sources, all coming together and just kind of like a stream of will enabling its existence, a revenant is like you have this strong soul and it just is like, nah, I'm not going. The body's like, nah, you are. I'm done. And the soul's just like, well, you might be done, but you know what? I'm just not. I'm just not going. And it just keeps that will to stay going on forever. And it taxes, like it's casting its own existence, so to speak. Um yeah, no problem. Thank you for popping, Justin. I appreciate it. And yeah, so that's kind of like the difference. One is faith based, so as faith dissipates, it dissipates. One, it's like entirely self fueled. It's a revenant, so it's almost like an internal spell upon itself. Yep. Also, Rylus, how are you doing? Hope you're having a good day today. Okay, let's see. We've got human variants, beast folk. They'd be like, there we go. Beast folk are Thank you for the follow, Hex Moser 2006. I hope you're having an amazing day. Please feel free to say hi in chat. I love talking. Also, I forgot that I am trying to train myself to read aloud as I'm typing so it doesn't get quiet for the stream. So peaceful, powerful souls and animals that have mutated and reached sapience, or people who have attuned themselves along an animal's experiential path and have augmented their own bodies to the point of being animalistic nature. I am doing pretty good. A bit tired. I am slowly recaffeinating myself. Not really the wisest thing to do at midnight, but I'm thinking about maybe staying up all night and resetting my sleep schedule into something like the mornings. We shall see on that front. I've not fully decided, but one way or another, I wanted to get this stream in, and I'm going to get this stream in. Right. I take it since you're in the category, you're fond of literature. I do wish the category was larger on Twitch. Yeah, no. Like, I think particularly for people with ADHD, it's a common way to approach it. My assumption is that because caffeine is kind of like a way to help balance the mental, like, not enough things to focus. How do I say that? Henchtoes? Henchtoes? Henchtoes, thank you for the follow. Thank you so much. Welcome in. I hope you're having an amazing day. And yeah, so like the low dopamine, low energy, etc. from the ADHD, most of us drink a lot of coffee if we're not on Adderall, though Adderall does the same thing where it fucks up your sleep schedule, and both things help to keep you awake, even if it helps us focus. So it's kind of fucking hard to go to sleep earlier if you have ADHD and you're a functioning ADHD because you're always on fucking coffee. So, generally speaking, I think most of us are just like, I need to fix my sleep schedule. Well, how are you going to do that? Are you going to take like a double or triple dose of melatonin? At least make it feeling groggy. I think what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to like take 5 hits of caffeine to the face and stay up all night. Also, I'm actually quite fond of literature, and I've always had a dream of creative writing, and I am actually working on redoing a creative writing project and try and get at least one book published and everything. So I'm in the process of rewriting it. Congratulations! I am trying to maybe eventually get my first novel done. I've been a hobbyist writer most of my life. I think I started writing like creatively in earnest maybe when I was like, I don't know, 13. Um but for most of my life I was a pantser, and I would get progressively less as I got better at like learning to check my work and go back and fix it. It went from my first thing where I wrote 100 pages before I went back to edit. And then I went back and I looked at the first page and I like threw up in my mouth and I threw out the whole script because I'm like, no, I'm not, no, no. Because after 100 pages, you've kind of like improved your writing a bit. So the first stuff was terrible. It was so bad. Um, and then, I progressively got better at like checking my stuff early and I would get through more and more drafts. But the problem with that while maintaining pantsing was that I would get more and more ideas and I would tie myself into plot holes because I didn't do my due diligence. I didn't world build. I didn't plan out the story. I didn't have a hard plot in mind. I was just writing. And that's not a bad thing. Just putting pen to paper is a great way to build skills. But pantsers who successfully make novels while being pantsers, like, hats off to them. I don't know how they do it because I always just tie myself into a bloody fucking plot hole or grow to like hate where one path went because it was something I did in the moment and I thought of something so much cooler, but now I can't do that thing that's cooler because I've already done this thing prior to it, and I really wish I had just planned out what I wanted from the story from the start. So I am attempting to do better at my world building and actually create the foundations for my story on paper in writing first. And that's what all this is. Um, the name of the story isn't really fleshed out yet. Right now, I'm just calling it the Grim Gray Project. It's like a more cheerful homage ish, taking some inspiration, but really not the same, to Warhammer 40k and Super Earth. Thank you, brain. I I can talk. All right, so beast folk, powerful souls, yada yada. Um, you've got for the modern time period by Logialis? No. Um, hmm. Augmenters? Oh, I'll have to brainstorm a better name later. So, what is your novel planning to be about? Hex. Or do you prefer Moser? Moser. Are you Canadian by chance? Augmented. Utilizing science and magic to artificially prove their bodies. Customize their bodies to their. Oh, nice. All right, Hex is fine. Cool. Passions. augmented will often look as machine or arcane constructs as they will human. Well, not technically a variant. Their as augmentation is common practice. Their extreme customizations have made them be perceived as such. Ugh. Alright, I think that'll do. Let's see. We've got... those basically sound like the Mechanicus, and I mean, they kinda are, with a more magical sense to it, but... Oh. Drifting away from my microphone. That should be better. Yeah, no, I was mainly asking because of the username. I realize I'm no longer talking to the mic because of the username. Moser made me think of something that was like a slang term in Canada. There it is. I am of all sorts of descent, but I live in the States. Myself. Let's see. Now, do I want to go... I feel like if I go Elvish, it will really just feel like I'm copy-pasting. I don't really want to do that. The idea of the elves, their core theme is their long life. So why don't I just take that? Rather than their appearance or other aspects of it. How should I approach it, though? No, that would be Aetens? Eternals? The cult of... is a stand-in. The example of the immortal led many to wish for longer lives, while some, well, just as many others felt that too long a life would diminish the time they have. Others felt that the universe and life was something to pursue forever. While unable to attain true ageless immortality, such as the immortal has, they nonetheless have expanded their lifespans through advanced applications of the drug. I need a name for that as well. Actually, let's not go with these. To make sure I know that this is require a name, the drug. And I will do that for the immortal as well. I'll get to the others later. All right, check that over. Also, my book is about a university student named Lou who falls in love with 3 demons. Okay. How does that work with the demon side of things? Because that could go many different directions. Augmetics and spiritual paths to expand their natural lifespan to its far past its limits. Okay, so we have that. Beast folk, augmented, eternals. Should probably have spirits because they'll exist. Spirits. Minor deities. Thought creations. Beings born of widespread faith. And sustained as a product similar to an eternal spell. While they possess their own sentience, well, some possess their own sentience. The demon side of it is the 3 demons pretty much have a backstory where when they were alive, they also had a girlfriend, but there was a tragedy with their girlfriend in the past, and every day they pretty much get some. Every day they're. Huh? And every day they pretty much get some, and then they get excited to know the person for potential, but nothing once been kind to them until Luz showed them a different side and like pretty much had them wrapped. I'm a little lost. I'm a little lost. Yeah. Hopefully that can be restructured. Let me try hazard a guess. Demons pretty much have a backstory where when they were alive, they also had a girlfriend. But there was a tragedy with their girlfriend in the past. And every day they're pretty much get some, and they get excited to know the person for potential. But nothing once been kind to them until. I don't get that part. I follow everything up until pretty much get some and then they get excited. I don't understand. Are you talking about intercourse? Are you talking like interaction with a girlfriend from the past? Is she a revenant? I'm confused. I'm sorry. I'm not getting it. Well, some possess their own sentience. Others are more akin to vague concepts. Okay. Um, gotcha there. That doesn't answer the confusion of, but there was a tragedy with their girlfriend in the past, and every day they pretty much get some, and then they get excited to know the person for potential. What is that? What is that sentence trying to say? I don't understand that. Like elaborate. All right. Augmetics. Is it? It's D. Augmetics. No. Okay. I don't. What? That's weird. Why would it be augmented but augmetics? Well, for now, I'm going to have that ignore. Go back over. Okay. All right. And manifest as pseudo sapient, animalistic, or um, childlike entities. They only live as long as the faith that creates them remains, and while they can have sentience, form, and influence, are not technically alive or have soul. It is best to think of them as a living spell. Revenants. Ah, that's good. All right. Well, they of course grieved, but trying to act normal. They are going to do so, and dang, sorry. All right. Every time they show their true selves, whoever they were working with, that's when the bad treatment starts. Oh, okay. Gotcha. I did not get that from the first bit, so that helps clarify. Um, how do demons work in this universe? Oh, no, 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 you're fine. Like, I knew you were going to get around to explaining it. Um, but yeah, like, are they demons in the sense of just like daemon in the root term, like a spirit? Are they demons in sense of like, um, Catholicism, born of hell, and like having some manner of agenda? Are they demons in the sense of like hell of a boss, where they're hellborn and they come from hell, but they're more like they have inclinations, but really they're just there to like, they're living their life like everyone else. Like, there are so many different stories involving demons with different interpretations of them. I'm curious which route you chose to go. So each of them is a different type? How so? In the manifestation of revenants and spirits. And it is possible for revenants to sustain themselves through faith, as it is possible for any being to do so. Revenants have souls, where spirits do not. Oh, there we go. A revenant, if one were to think of a spirit as a living spell, a revenant immense strength, but looks in the middle between being TJ. Oh, thin and buff. Okay. A revenant is a soul determined to remain among the living, and so powerful and sufficiently powerful of will and soul to remain after their death. That they remain and manifest themselves even after. This is akin to a mage casting a spell and never stopping it. The truly powerful revenants can manage this feat with enough to spare to allow them the energy to speak and think clearly. Most, however, are something akin to maddened beasts. Their fury and will alone fueling their eternal struggle remain with nothing to spare aside from a general direction to follow their core. Yeah. Hmm. I think that'll do. Now we have spirits, revenants, eternals, beast folk, and humans. I think that'll do for now on that. Demon 2 is an incubus. In this world, he is quick to fall in love. What? An incubus? Quick to fall in love? Couldn't imagine. So, in your world, demons have immense strength. Are they distrusted because of former conflicts? It's sounding like the demons aren't inherently from hell per se, but it's kind of following more of the, like, I don't know, Japanese thought line where they're from a rougher region or another plane that's very harsh and or exposed to high magic. So biologically they are stronger, but like ours is just a more hospitable realm, perhaps. Could be wrong. Could be entirely misinterpreting the description. But like the fact that they're only looked upon with disdain and getting like discrimination and aren't like outright being witch hunted, so to speak, implies that there is some level of coexistence. Fallen angel. Hmm, nice. Okay, it appears ads have started. All right. Okay. Composed of a meritocracy, militant meritocracy. Hmm. Yeah, militant meritocracy. Born of its core being designed to adapt around an age and the needs of the times, but the society is militant to the extreme now due to how long the current conflicts has been going on. The immortal secretly would long to turn the society to its more peaceful roots in his memory, but despite that desire, he is the one who enacts policies to facilitate the zealous warlike culture perpetuated by the Aeternians. All right. Oh, ads are done. Welcome back, everyone. Okay. Kicked out of the Peacelands because he was falsely accused of seducing a man's wife. I see. All right. The immortal is, of course, at the top of society. However, it is put into place that any position of influence can be, in times of, I don't want to describe it, because in times of emergency you don't want it necessarily changing it. Can be challenged and overtaken through a test of merit. These tests can be done one tier up tier above your standing, or as many tiers as you have sponsor. A sponsor. Or at, or as high as you have a sponsor who is willing to share. The results of your challenge. I saved my questions. That's why I was waiting to read it on Demon 3 until after the ads. So, I see. Seducing the wife. Alright. So, I'm still a little unsure, like, what direction are you taking with angels and demons? Like, what's the grand overview? I'm assuming, because you're describing it as the Peace Land, it's not quite heaven and hell, but it's sort of similar. I'm curious about your setting. Who is willing to suffer a tear of demotion should you prove unimpressive? Should your challenge prove unwarranted in the eyes of your peers at the challenge tier? This holds true for the immortal as well. However, to date, Only a few have come close to being perceived a challenger, and none have been deemed greater. The victor of. Okay. The Peacelands, they're not quite heaven and hell. Yeah, okay. So, like, what's the theme? Are they more like a plot device so that you can have angels and demons? Are they like an impactful aspect to the story? Are they not heaven and hell proper so that you can distance yourself from like the heavy overtones of it, where they're like, yes, the incubus does get, a little more romantically attracted than most people. The demon is stronger than most people. The fallen angel was accused of slander and deals with the politics of heaven without like going full depth on the oh, hang on. Because Beast Lands still punish but not as harsh as the chaotic lands. The names of the places are placeholders, however the names are basic ideas are pretty much what I'm basing them off of. Gotcha. Gotcha. Excuse me. Yeah. In the same Jesus vein, if one believes themselves skilled enough for a trade or a profession, also this won't be revealed until much later, the peace and chaotic lands, or like the nature of the demons, or something that you're writing out. I'll just let you finish. They can take a test and obtain immediate certification without requirements for courses or hours. However, it is generally found that within the industry guilds of each craft, the education of the passionate and potential are facilitated at no cost. It is like where they come from, and it's like where they come from. And Lou studies, she always takes her notes with her because she's learning the history where they came from, as she did find a history book about different types of demons in the library, strangely. However, one day she does forget them, and one of the demons pretty much find it as they're cleaning. They wait for you to get home. They questioned her about this, and that's when they tell her the nature of themselves. Okay. Interesting. Conversely, those who do not find a niche for themselves, who do not utilize the tools available to thrive or otherwise find themselves at the bottom. Receive no need to speak of. Yeah. The drug that serves as the universal currency facilitates and heightens people's motivation and providing energy and drive to pursue their goals. Those that refuse to use it or fail despite it are openly considered unworthy of the society's support until proven otherwise. This has led to a stigma of those who do not support the current system and general disgust for those who do not push themselves as much as they find themselves able. The typical Aeterian will work 16-hour days every day. 16 hours a day, every day. Enjoy 4 hours of dedicated free time and 4 hours of sleep. This is made possible due to... I will check it in 1 second. The drug amazing effect on people's bodies. It's... Come on, brain. All right, let's catch up on chat while my brain tries to find the word for that. Pretty much on the use and pretty much the person. Okay, hang on. Both names are pretty much irony because the peace lands are not actually peaceful, and the chaotic lands are actually not as chaotic. And the person on the peace lands pretty much wrote down their beliefs and spread them all around town. And I can guess you say indoctrinate people. Gotcha. Yeah. It's Do 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 do. Burnout is where to the efficient fish. Yeah, I knew I didn't spell it right. EFFICI. Yeah, okay. Efficiency of the drug. But people can still find themselves financially destitute from poor investment, harmful habits, or the malicious nature of themselves or others. As a stopgap, it's to help society and these less fortunate. It is allowed and encouraged for those without options or any the drug. Okay, I'm using that a lot. Let's copy it. Left. You said town. Is there like one city in between them? Because you said they spread the ideology around the town specifically. Can conscribe themselves into the military. Or be forcibly conscripted in the event they fail to pay taxes or uphold their citizenship duties. There is one big town for each island. Oh, okay. So it's like an island structure. Also, what do you think so far, Hex? As you are seeing live the world building happening, I'm curious what your thoughts are. Bear in mind, this is meant to be a somewhat dystopian setting. I think that's important to remember. It's grim gray because people here are genuinely happy, the vast majority of them. But it is an open dystopia in the sense that it's not lying about what it is, but it is a totalitarian government with one leader that can be challenged, true, but is effectively never going to lose its leadership. There are no elections because you have to prove yourself better in the eyes of the people than the literal fucking immortal that's been at it for like ever. um, like the incumbent of incumbents, let's be real. So, and the people work 2/3 of their day, 7 days a week. Um, but they're all actually just happy because, again, this drug, I know it's being written as a miracle drug, but that's literally what it is in the setting. Um, it's so good and so useful and so integral to society. It is literally used as the universal currency. You buy things with this drug. You get paid with this drug. And you use this drug every day to sustain yourself at these like superhuman levels of ability. And you don't suffer consequences, technically speaking, because again, this was the drug that unified society. It doesn't have side effects, it doesn't have withdrawal symptoms, technically. So, like, if you stopped using this drug, you wouldn't like face horrendous burnout from all the hours you worked. You would just only be able to work like 8 hours before getting tired. You wouldn't suffer a backlog because there is no backlog. It just makes you more biologically efficient. You're not overclocking yourself. Like, you can overclock yourself on the drug. You're like, you can go 24 hours straight, but generally your body will only need those 4 hours. And when the drug stops, your body just goes back to normal and it would need its regular hours. You're like, you'll still feel tired. Your organs are fine. Everything is fine with you. You don't suffer withdrawals. You don't get pain from it. What gets people so addicted, though, is when they stop using this drug, in the comparative sense, they feel like lesser versions of themselves because they can't work as long. They aren't as happy because the drug helps, you know, it increases your happiness levels. You have higher dopamine. Your body's more efficient. You feel more fulfilled. You have more motivation. All of those, it basically makes you your best self, so to speak. That's what the drug does. That's the insidious nature of it. How the immortal worked to unify people. He unified them through their self-interest. That was the idea. He made something that people would get addicted to, not because it was addictive in its own nature, but because not having it felt like you weren't yourself anymore. You tasted paradise. And if you didn't have it, you were cast back into the dirt. So everyone wanted it. And that is the big unifying force of the society. And the immortal is effectively the only person who truly knows how to make it proper. He is the holder of the secret aspect of it. There are others that can come up with variants, other aspects of it, but the core material of it is really like, it's the printing press, so to speak. It's what keeps the economy going and the root of society. And it's not technically, because the laws of the society apply to the emperor too. It's a state secret, but it's not his state secret. Should he lose that authoritarian duel, so to speak, should someone prove themselves a more competent leader, they gain access to all of the patented knowledge that he has. That's what it is. Um, so yeah, like, I'm curious what you think. All right, let's see. This manner, everyone has access to. No. I'm not talking about the islands. This is my story I was talking about. I was asking you what you thought about the world building that you're seeing here and what I just described. Okay. Ugh. Alright, so that's done. That more or less wraps up that segment. I think I'll probably call it there. And no worries, Hex. Let's see. I'm going to start getting us prepped for a raid. So first, let's do raid. Get that copied for myself. Okay, let's close that down. Raid channel. Let's see what we've got. Do. Let's go with this. And yeah, they seem chill. Oh, wait. Oh, bollocks. Well, nothing should have been exposed, so I'm just gonna get that prepped. Let's all give them a nice, warm Void Raid welcome. I'll have to remember to not close my tab prior to the raid next time. But nothing should have been exposed. And everyone, thank you so very much for the raid. For the stream. Jeez, I can talk. I promise. Thank you so very much for being here, for coming in, tuning in. Those on YouTube, thank you for listening. Please leave a like and comment if you wish. And everyone, have an amazing day. Please stay awesome.